Hi guys, it's JSFL here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be talking you guys through the best free hit team for Game Week 18. Some people are considering to free hit because their team doesn't look that good. For example, let's say you triple up on Manchester United, De Gea, Dalot, and Ronaldo, and you are not in the best place. Mikel Antonio as well, and you only have 4 to 5 players, or maybe 3 if you're very unlucky. But in my opinion, it's not necessary to free hit. Save it for those double game week because you will get much more value out of it free hitting in the double game week than free hitting it now. Last year there was a similar situation, games got postponed, and it's just honestly, in my opinion, if your team really needs the free hit, then free hit. If your team really doesn't need it, like you have 5 to 6 playing players, I suggest just keep the free hit for later this season. But anyways, let's jump in to the free hit team. So now here, let's start off in goal here. Aaron Ramsdale. Now, Aaron Ramsdale with a very high ownership, like the 70%, 17.2% is not really that high, but in the top 100k people, most of them have Aaron Ramsdale as a keeper, and he's playing this week against a very poor Leeds side because Leeds just lost 7-0 to Manchester City, and now they take on a very strong Arsenal side, which just beat West Ham with a lot of momentum coming to this game. Ramsdale, if you watch the game, he was loving it. He was playing really well, making saves here and there. And honestly, I think he's the best goalkeeper in the game currently. And if you just need to spend a bit more money to get him in, I suggest you can do that. So let's move on to the defense. Firstly, here is James. Now, James take on Wolves. Wolves aren't the best attacking side. They only scored one last week, and before that they haven't scored much. They played Norwich, they played Burnley. They haven't scored while people expected them to score. So Wolves' attack have been very poor, and I think Chelsea's last game, yes, they did concede, but Everton really just parked the bus. Um, with the players Bielsa had, I mean, he can't really do much because all of his essential players are injured, and he can't really, you know, he has to park the bus. And if you watch the game, Chelsea played better. James had a couple of chances to score, and Benitez, didn't have the best players to play, but he made the best out of it. So yes, Chelsea did concede, and they have been conceding in the past few weeks, very last late goals. But Alonso, if you got that clean sheet, so example James is gonna play 90 minutes, you have to be careful because 90-minute man compared to Alonso, if he comes out early, he might secure the clean sheet while James will not. But James is a very attacking guy, and he's playing like a right winger instead of a right back. Next year we have Trent. So Trent Trent takes on Tottenham, and Tottenham haven't been the best. They haven't played in a while, and so they are coming back to play a very strong Liverpool side, and Liverpool just beat Newcastle 3-1. Trent will absolute banger of a goal there. So no matter the fixture, I think Trent is still a very essential player, like the second most essential player after Mohamed Salah, because if you don't have him, you basically lose your rank. And if he gets, a very good high scoring game week, you will lose your rank. So for free hit team, I think Trent is still essential no matter the fixtures. Next year is Joao Cancelo. Now Joao Cancelo didn't play that 7-0 win for Manchester City, but now he plays Newcastle. Now Newcastle very poor, and I don't think they will get any results probably until January after they make a couple of signings. They just lost to Liverpool. Now they take on Manchester City, which is coming into this game with a 7-0 win. They could easily just win Newcastle like a 8-0 or 5-0. So a very high scoring game week for high scoring game for me. And I think Cancelo, he is the best fullback, one of the best fullbacks to go on for defenders. And lastly, in defense, Eric Laporte, a shocking one. He's the cheapest, one of the cheapest starting defenders for a very top tier side, like Liverpool, Manchester City, and Chelsea. And he is also the one of the most secured one. Like if you talk about Liverpool, Joe Matic, Konate, these players are not guaranteed to play well. Laporte, even if you watch the game, he played John Stones and he didn't take out Lampard. This proves that how good Lampard is played. And Lampard has been not really the best, but he was playing quite decently and got the clean sheet. And for me, a very good budget defender for a free hit team. Newcastle again, very poor recently. Next in midfield here, Mohamed Salah. He's again, like I said, Trent is the second most essential player after Mohamed Salah. Salah is basically the most essential player you have to have in your team. Tottenham, yes, new manager, a better side, but if you look at how good Liverpool have been, Liverpool has been one of the best forms, and they are currently fighting for a title to so I think this is a really important game. Some people might think he get rested, but I don't think you should take that risk to take him out of your team. Nextly, Mason Mount takes on Wolves. Now, Mason Mount, don't bring him in. I am including him in this team because it's a free hit. It's not a wild card. So if you're wild carding, I don't suggest going for this team because Mason Mount is a 1 week punt. After this week's, he takes on a some really strong defenses. Aston Villa has been really great recently. Brighton, haven't conceded much, and then two blank games after that. So I don't suggest you bring him in. But if you're free hitting a 1 week punt, Wolves the defense have been, Wolves haven't been the best recently. So I think Mason Mount is a very good option to go to. Next, Phil Foden. Now Phil Foden, if he starts in that City team, I talked about him in a few games ago. He is the best option because he's very explosive on the wings. And if he gets a place in that City team, he will make use of that. Even if he's playing out wide, playing up front, he's a very versatile player. He can play anywhere, which makes him higher chances of starting. And Phil Foden, a very young player, which really really good technique. So, one of the better, also one of the best budget midfielders. 8.0, 7.4 ownership, a pretty low ownership. Newcastle have been poor recently and not winning much games. So if you want a city attacker, I think Phil Foden is the one to go to. Next year is Odegaard. Now, if he starts, he can basically get a return because I think he did play kind of well in that game against West Ham. He played 65 minutes. He came off early, but he did secure that clean sheet. And the the 3 games before, he scored a goal twice. He scored 3 goals in a row. So Martin Odegaard, really great form. And I think because West Ham was a tougher team, he came off for Smith Rowe, because maybe they want a more comfortable win. But a 5.5 Arsenal center taking midfielder, honestly, you don't have to worry if he doesn't start because this free hit team has a really solid bench. So it doesn't if he starts, he doesn't start. It's a risk for risk. If he starts, great chance for him for scoring. If he doesn't, maybe you know our bench is really strong. He can come off. And next year, Lacazette. Now Lacazette, Aubameyang is not gonna play this week. It's confirmed he's not gonna play this game week. And Lacazette, do you he Arteta talked in that interview about he's a really really great player and important for his team. So Lacazette is he's really people forgot how great he was. He's a really good player, a great differential this week, 2.1% ownership. If you want to go for a bit of a differential, Lacazette, yes, pay a bit more, but if you are going on a wild card, maybe don't really consider him. But if you are on a free hit, Lacazette is one of the players to go to, especially with Leeds again, very poor defensively, just lost 7-0 to City, coming into this game with very poor, momentum. Next is Ollie Watkins. I have to include him in this team. Burnley, they have been poor, recently, and Watkins, how great of a performance he's shown. A very high ownership. Take note, this video was recorded on a Friday, so all the ownerships will be different, like maybe slightly different. As well to my bench, the bench here, Dumbreka here, just pay a bit more instead of a 4.0, just in case Aaron still doesn't start. You could, if you want to upgrade like you got to Smith Rowe, yes, you have point 0.1 in the bank. Take Dumbraka's, downgrade him to 3.9 mil goalkeeper, upgrade Oiga. If you want to upgrade Lamport to Diaz do that, you can do that. So it's fully your opinion, your choice, your team. If you wanna have played it slightly safe, I think you go for the Mbraka because if Ramsdale doesn't start, he can come off. And next year, Matt targets now. There are other options in that price range: Kieran Tierney, Tomiyasu, but Matt targets Burnley. Tomiyasu also has a great fixture. For me, comparing Tomiyasu and Tierney, I think Tomiyasu is the better one because he's more nailed on in his position, less competition in his position. Yes, he was a previously a centre back, but he's experienced as a right back before. So I think Tomiyasu could be a one if you want to make a change. But Matt targets is also a really good shout. A slightly differential than Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu has a higher ownership. So I think targets, if you want to go for a differential guy, if you are more of a differential person, go for him. If you are more of a safe person, go for Tomiyasu. Next year, Ramsey now 4.5 mil midfielder. He playing as a centre attacking midfielder for Aston Villa. As we saw, he scored, and I think he's a really solid option because being that price that cheap, as I said, a very good differential. If Odegaard doesn't play, he can come on and max targets. Of course, a lot of players in this team has a slight risk of rotation, especially Odegaard, Foden, Mount. These players might get rotated. And lastly, Gilhart, a cheap option. He might get a couple of minutes to prove himself. So, you know, I don't think you will get use of him because the previous two players on your bench is more solid, and I don't think in this team three players will get rotated unless it's really unlucky for you. So, guys, that wraps up for another video. And let's do captains real quick. Captain Mohamed Salah, you could go for differential. Odegaard could be a good one. Lacazette, Foden, or Cancelo. These could be great differentials, but play safe if you want to play it safe. And vice captain on Phil Foden, there's a slight chance Salah get rotated, and Phil Foden can, get the vice captain, a really solid option. So guys, that wraps up for another video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Tune into my Game Week 18 high stream. And it's been me, Jess FPL. See you guys in the next one.